Okay, so I had to pause the time lapse for a second. Because I remember I should have probably done this before I started working and the heat started getting the best of me. Um, so, um, so for people who don't know, so I have multiple sclerosis, which is, it's an autoimmune condition where your immune system basically attacks a very specific protein that covers and protects the nerves in your brain and in your spinal cord. So it's a central nervous system disorder, not a peripheral nervous system, meaning it doesn't attack like the nerve in your hand, but it attacks like a command center that feeds or commands the nerve in your hand. That makes sense? So peripheral, central. Anyway, so it's a CNS disorder, and I've had it for like 13 years, and I've been on a bunch of different meds, suffered a lot of different disability from it, and maybe one day I'll get into it. Um, but so one of my main MS involved areas is my right arm. So you probably look like it's my left, but it's my right. And so I sort of start off every day at a certain level of functionality, and as I use my arm throughout the day, especially on like hot, humid days like today, that that functionality like takes a nosedive. And so that's going to factor into it because at some point I'm going to have to lift these beams, although thankfully these are not super heavy, but I'm going to have to lift them up off my hand. So I think let's do a little neuro check before I do that part because I'm already starting to feel it just from holding it to grow. So for most people, if you were to lift your hands and put them forward, they'd let that same rate and they go up to the same height. So this is me. And I'm not exaggerating it. I'm not like whatever, believe me, no, I'm um and so probably before I started doing all of this, it was probably higher up. I try to do that. About as much as I can do, and then try above the head. And that's that. And if I take a good impulse, that's about as much as I can lift it. So we'll see if I'm able to put these up today. If I am, rest assured, I'm gonna not be okay later tonight. But usually I take some rest, I cool off, I drink some cold water, or in my case, Gatorade. I sleep it off, and then I'm a little better and kind of my now normal baseline. My baseline used to just be normal. And after this really bad flare up that I had in 2021, my baseline on this arm is about like 85% of what it used to be. Um, so we'll see. We'll see where I'm at the end of today. We'll repeat the exercise once I'm done with this. See how bad it's going to get. Oh man. All right. And with that, whole phase one of the Hanging Gardens of Babylon via Lesbos is complete. I'm beat. Holy shit. So yeah. So I have a few like cinder blocks that I'm going to use on these back posts just to give them a little bit of extra support. So you can probably tell, you may not be able to tell, the bottom parts of the stakes are off the ground higher than the ones in front. That's just because the ground's on a slope. But I can't actually like make a hole in the ground to put the post in. They would be a lot more stable that way. But again, I'm a renter, so whatever I do here has to be temporary. I know this seems like a lot of work for something that's temporary, but you know what? I get to experiment. I get to garden the way that I want to. I get to look at something pretty. I'm here for at least another year and a half. So it's a year and a half of mental health. That's totally worth it. But yeah, so what's going to happen now is we're going to be hanging some grow bags from here, primarily stuff that vines. So like my tomatoes and cucumbers and stuff like that are going to come here, obviously with companion plants, like basil and rosemary and stuff like that. That's just to kind of keep the pests away. But yeah, so I think next up, I got to clean all this up. I'm going to put some cedar mulch down. Again, that's just like keeps some of the bugs away. And then, yeah, I have a lot of plants starting in my other greenhouse. I'll give you a tour later. And yeah, so I guess let's do an MS check. I think you can probably tell that my right arm is hanging lower than my left, just trying to stand as straight as possible. And I'm not sure if you noticed when I was trying to reach to the top, I was always like leaning to my left, just trying to compensate for the lack of like full extension. So let's see where we're at. Yeah. So yeah, that's where I'm at with this arm. Let's try the sides. Let's try overhead. Yeah, at this point, if I'm gonna put it up again, I have to like lean just to kind of support that and sort of hold it up, but sort of put all that strength behind putting it up. I'm beat, completely beat. Probably going to be in a lot of pain tomorrow, especially here in my rib cage and in my shoulder blade. That's where it hurts the most usually when my arm acts out. I'm also going to spend some time swatting some flies. That's what I was doing, just swatting some really stupid carpenter flies that we're probably looking to try burrowing in the wood. That's primarily why I treated the wood. It's just to keep them away. So let's do this part. Let's see. Die, 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 die. Go away, bye. I also happen to be deathly allergic to bees, so just keep them out of my space. I wish I weren't allergic to bees because I would 100% keep bees, but it'd be nothing better than to like have my own honeys. And I would be so nice to them too, but yeah, I'll have all kinds of flowers for them to pollinate. That will be a dream that will never happen for me. Let's see, anything else? Well, I think I got the bigger ones. Let's see. Bye. Mhm. Yes, it does stink like something's burning. If they are actually burning. Yep. All right, that's that. So we'll clean this up. Get everything situated, close the things up. And let me see if I can show you guys around. So over here, yeah, you got some runes, my Fehu. This is just to, protect my little greenhouse. So if you're wondering what those guys are for, those are actually for the front. So that is phase 2 of the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. Coming soon. Thank you for joining. All right, so here we have a preliminary final product. Obviously, final product will be when all the hooks are occupied with actual hanging plants. But yeah, it's a combo of some pine and cedar over here, mostly because I ran out of the cedar and I had a bunch of leftover pine. And then, so I have these 2 little guys here. So it's, whoa, bye. I have these 2 little evaporators, one in each of the greenhouses. And basically you fill the bottom with some water, and it comes with some ice packs that are in the freezer right now. But when it gets really, really hot outside, I plan to put the freezer packs here so it's blowing out cold air, and put them on a timer just to get a little bit of airflow in here, and give them a little bit of a respite from the heat, and the humidity. So, and then I got these little guys, these speakers. You can basically you can put it together or you can separate it. So I have one speaker at either greenhouse, and the idea is that it'll play, sort of like soft Soulflaya music and, like Indian rangas and stuff like that. Music that apparently plants like, that can help to stimulate growth. So that's that. So both of these little evaporators are running, and I'm, let's see here, I have a blackberry bush. That's calamandan. That's mint. We have, that's rosemary, that's lavender over there. This tomato just got a little bit of a frost the other night, and so I'm hoping that it can come back to life because it got the frost before I replanted it. So we'll see. So it's a strawberry plant here. That's some bell peppers. That's another big strawberry plant there. This one's zucchini. I think this is yellow squash. That is some watermelon, and this is a bean mix. So there's garbanzos and lentils and stuff like that. A little calla lilies. These are some chocolate sunflowers. And then I still have to hook this up with the extension cord, but I have these little heat mats here. It's to help warm the soil so that the plants can sprout a little bit quicker. So we've got some cherry tomatoes, purple tomatoes, some Marzano's, mini bell peppers. Actually, just I bought mini bell peppers and I just used the seeds from whatever I bought. And so there's a bunch of little mini bell pepper plants here, and I'm gonna wait for them to get a little bit bigger before I replant them. And this is some basil, and then this is some kabocha squash seeds that, again, we just ate the kabocha squash maybe like 3-4 days ago. So I just took the seeds and planted them here. So it's been less than a week, which is no wonder it hasn't sprouted yet. And then, so I just sort of set up my little workstation here. These are some grow lights that I had in the other greenhouse but no longer need. And these are some grow trays also that have their own grow lights. But right now I think they're getting pretty good sunlight in the greenhouse, especially since the days are getting a little bit longer. It was very useful when the days were still pretty short. And so then over here on the big greenhouse, so we have it's a blueberry bush. And then we've got some garlic, some soft neck garlic, some arugula. There's some Italian parsley here, and these guys are about to throw hands. So I'm going to have to cut these because they're flowering, and if they flower, the plant doesn't grow. So I just haven't had the chance to kind of tend to them. We got some shallots. See, these are the little trays that were in the other one. I didn't have good luck with all the stuff that I put in there, but some is trying to sprout, so I'm just going to leave it alone. Got a little snapdragon mix. It's like a mix of like actual fruit plus like pollinators. Got some sunflowers there, some spinach, some regular lettuce. This is like a wildflower mix. Again, it's for the pollinators. It's easy to say I probably can't eat that enormous asparagus spear because it started flowering, but if you've ever wondered what asparagus looks like if you don't eat it, that's what it looks like. And then, so this is some of the squash that's going to go in the front. I think this one got a little bit too much sun because I had those grow lights on here, so I just turned them away. We'll see. Hopefully they grow back. If not, I got plenty more seeds. These are marigolds. I don't think the delicata squash kind of started, and then I think it just died off, so I'm gonna have to restart that guy. And then, so these have been around since last year. Got some kale and some rainbow chard. And then this is my romaine lettuce, some sage, and just kind of putting that stuff in between just to keep some of the bugs away. I gotta spray this stuff because I'm pretty sure there's an asshole caterpillar somewhere in here, and they're really, really good at hiding, so they're hard to find. And again, I just haven't babysat the plants as well as I should because I've been trying to build for them. These are just some that I took away and I just sort of left them as compost, but we have this ridiculously long leaf. So look at that rainbow. And then, so we have more romaine lettuce there. We have some corn. These are parsnips, and some red romaine. That's a little celery stalk that we bought the celery. It was leftover, so I replanted it. Let's see if it takes. More romaine. And then, so these also have been here since last year. These are my Brussels. Look at those leaves. Look at that huge stem. More of this red romaine. Some thyme here, some dill. That I kind of just rescued. And interestingly enough, so this entire bed I had emptied because whatever was in there had just kind of died. And then after I emptied it, all of these little lettuce seeds started growing out of nowhere. And so I was like, well, hey, Eureka. So I kind of rescued them and sort of replanted them and spaced them out. Again, lesson learned from last year was not giving the stuff enough space to grow. I know that I planted this some time ago and I still don't know what the hell I actually planted. So I'm just waiting for it to grow a little bit more. And then I have more corn here. And I think the cucumber started sprouting and then it kind of died off. So I'm going to have to start again. Those are some chives, and I think I already kind of went through this one. This is arugula, and I did plant some recao, or what, back at home we call it recao. In the States, you guys probably know it as coriander. So planted it around here, in seed form, so we'll see if it sprouts. And I'm gonna have to start chopping some of this arugula so it actually grows some arugula leaves. Yeah. So that's what we have here in the front. I seeded a bunch of potatoes and some onions just because those tend to kind of grow wherever. And then I have to really pay attention, start working on the pumpkins, because that's what's going to hang in the front. There's some bees trying to look for places to pollinate. I'm going to leave this open for now to let them. And then hopefully at night they go wherever they might go. And I'm just hoping that they don't try to start a beehive in here. But yeah, this is where we're at. So this is my project so far. Stay tuned for the next part.